Hello. I stole a map to the Grand Line, but stuff still happens. So what's up? It's strike time. The United Auto Workers are on strike as of this morning. If you haven't heard, the UAW in America has been threatening a strike if they couldn't reach a contract with the big three automakers. That's Ford, GM, and Stellantis, which is Jeep and Chrysler. The UAW cites the ridiculously high raises that the CEOs of these companies have gotten, the record profits that they've gotten, and virtually none of that is going to the worker. In fact, less than none of that. They're making less money now than they were before. What they are asking for amounts to a fraction of 1 year of net profit from these companies paid out over multiple years. They can absolutely afford it. But the automobile industry is like, oh no, but my profits, I need those to do stock buybacks. Because we can't possibly benefit our workers when we have investors to enrich. This is healthy. This is a good way to do business. Please be cautious. I am already seeing headlines and narratives from corporate media outlets talking about how this is just so dangerous and these workers are endangering the economy, which is going to affect normal people. These damn workers and their greed for wanting to be able to afford rent and groceries. They're the problem. Be mad at them. Solidarity always. Y'all, this Unity shit is getting out of control. All right, I talked about this on my last episode, but a really quick recap. Unity, it's a popular game engine, and they recently announced a new pricing structure that would charge developers per install of a game. They have since made some clarifications. I would make air quotes, but I'm using both my hands. The clarifications did not really help their situation. They basically just doubled down on their new pricing structure. A bunch of developers, scratch that. The entire fucking games industry is dunking on Unity right now. And it's also kind of actually dangerous. Like, a lot of developers are pulling out and saying we have to stop development of our game because there's like no way we can move forward like this. It's gotten so wild that yesterday Unity had to close their offices because they received death threats. This is your reminder to not send death threats to random employees of companies that they're not the ones making these decisions, typically. But I'm not trying to paint Unity in a sympathetic light here. They're pulling some bullshit. Game development takes years to do. Even in a fully staffed office full of people who are professional game developers doing it for 40 plus hours a week, usually closer to 60 or 80 hours a week, it takes years to actually ship a game. And so there are studios who are using Unity under an assumption that they were gonna have the same pay structure they started with. And then Unity's like, psych, we're changing the rules on you. And despite that, despite the years of effort, some developers are already saying, I can't trust you anymore. We're gonna stop development and start over on a different engine. If you've ever played the game Slay the Spire, their developers literally put out a public statement that ended with, we have never made a public statement before. That is how badly you fucked up. And here's a kicker. It turns out that Unity executives sold a bunch of stock right before this announcement, so all right, I'll talk about the aliens now. A lot of people have been asking me to talk about aliens. There's been a lot of alien news recently, like a lot of alien news recently, and I haven't really talked about it. Most recently, a researcher in Mexico claims to have alien bodies that he showed to the Mexican Congress. And previously, there were those like alien hearings, those UFO hearings in America. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna be clear. It's probably not aliens. That doesn't mean it's not aliens. I have no reason to say one way or the other, really. It's just not a thing I think about very often. You know, the existence of aliens or not is not gonna change anything major in my life. Like, whether or not aliens exist isn't gonna change who I'm romancing in Baldur's Gate 3. Love you, Karlach. Anyway, the alien bodies shown in Mexico were already proven to be false. This guy has made a lot of false claims in the past, and these things don't hold up to muster. Like, no. It's like fucked up mummies. It's fake. But as for like the stuff in America, you know, NASA has been doing research into sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena, and they've been trying to come up with answers for like what the hell these things are. And they have since put out a report that just came out recently, that basically says, but more specifically, it says, look, okay, here are some examples of sightings and what we think they are. We think that a lot of the cases are just bad readings. Specifically, some of them are just like commercial airliners that were miscalculated, and some of them were just actual balloons floating in a wind, like made total sense. However, there are still some things that they're like, we don't know what the hell this is. We have no reason to believe it is aliens, but we also don't know what it is. Their official stance is essentially, we're not saying it's not aliens, but we're also not saying that aliens don't exist. Like, we're looking into it. We want to find aliens, but we're gonna need more resources, and just like we want to find conclusive evidence that says this is totally definitely aliens before we say it's aliens. So like, get hype. Like, this is cool. That NASA is potentially gonna get more funding and starting off a whole research program to try to find aliens and whatnot. And like, yo, that rules. But in this case, so far, we just we don't have it. The hope is still alive, dear viewer. One day, you might find yourself clapping alien cheeks. Bill Maher sucks. We already knew he sucked, and now he's a scab. Your boy Bill is joining Drew Barrymore in bringing his show back to air, despite the striking writers saying, what the fuck, don't do that. And again, he's also saying like, nah, it's okay that I'm doing this. I'll just not do my scripted monologue. It's fine. In reality, he's just a greedy piece of shit, and he is a fucking scab. But like, I'm also super not shocked. We've known that he's a piece of shit for a while. On this day in 1916, during the Battle of Somme in the First World War, tanks were deployed to the battlefield for the first time. I should be clear, they were deployed. It didn't go great, but they were deployed. God, this new technology, it's always so unreliable. Lightning Round. The author of the popular comic book series Fables has entered his work into the public domain to undermine DC trying to pull some dumb bullshit against him. DC, the comic company, not the politicians. Hunter Biden has been formally indicted with 3 charges, including lying about drug use while obtaining a firearm. This one just says that a dude found 20 rattlesnakes in his garage. The fuck? Elon Musk has finally budged and has acknowledged the workers that he laid off and promised severance and then never paid. They've been trying to sue him for a while, and his legal team has just been stonewalling them, and now he's finally going to kind of talk to them. Mitt Romney announced that he will not be seeking re-election. Take a hint, everyone else. A gay couple in Kentucky that was famously denied a marriage license from a county clerk has been awarded $100,000 in damages. Unfortunately, another gay couple who was also denied was awarded nothing, but update on that story, yay, I think. MGM and other Vegas resorts have been hit by a massive cybersecurity attack that has basically ground them to a halt. It apparently took only like 10 minutes and a bit of social engineering from a hacker group to just completely take them down. And finally for today, TikTok is embracing the fact that more and more people are using it for search, and they're including stuff like Wikipedia in their search results. That is how bad Google is now. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Stuff Keeps Happening. Head to stuffkeepshappening.online for sources, bonus content, and quite literally, I just posted some bonus content. My name is Endeavorance. I'll be back on Monday. Take care and be well.